gonna stream tonight. That's right, we're streaming live tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, we're not. We're on typical YouTube delayed video, but here we are once again, myself and Daryl Smith and my cohort, Mr.
Chris Picard.
Chris Picard,
Good
here
seeing you guys.
live in person.
Yeah, episode 149.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah,
That's a
149.
lot. That's too many episodes.
Not bad.
I know. Pretty soon we'll be, we'll be in a cemetery somewhere going, Chris, episode 3032. And we'll be doing another miserable show. But
Well, if I'm old, you'll be really old.
I'll be dead, man. No,
Yeah.
you'll be doing it over my grave, you say.
I will, yeah.
Grave
Grave banter.
where it will be. It'll be grave banter. That's right. Find a grave. You know, there's a
Welcome,
wonderful website, by the way, out there called Find a Grave. Now, unfortunately, they charge for it. But if you ever want to know somebody in your world, you want to see Harry Houdini's gravesite.
It'll tell you.
It shakes you pictures, everything.
Oh.
It's wonderful. I love it. And I used it originally, I think the first person I looked up on there was Gene Siskel.
Oh, okay.
And Gene Siskel was
Gotta be in Illinois, right?
He was cremated. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Roger Ebert also, I believe, they both were cremated. But anyway, regardless, we do have some wondrous entertainment film banter. We're no longer we're cutting out the restaurant banter.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We're going to cut it
Let's
out.
just talk about
half of you tune out
more
while we do
interesting
it anyway.
things.
So yes.
So I guess the top, one of the things I'd like to mention is we did lose Max von Sydow this week.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, he was good age though, 90 years old.
Crushing.
What a career.
What a great life. You know, and of course his most famous role for we the Americans of this planet was The Exorcist.
Exactly.
And he already looked like he was 90 in that film.
Yeah.
So, but you know, it's such an iconic performance.
It was amazing.
But the man, you know, he did such wonderful things. He had such a diverse sense of placement and, you know, all the incredible things. Of course, he was Ingmar Bergman's main man.
He was for I think, what, 7 movies, 8 movies, something like that?
More than that.
More than that? More than that?
Oh, my God, yes.
Okay.
Oh, I believe so. I could be mistaken, but I'm going to say more like 15 films.
Were that many?
Yeah, easily. You can check it out.
Yeah, let's look it up. I'm curious.
I don't know if you can cross-reference Ingmar and
Well, no, I can just ask.
and Max.
I
Oh,
could
true.
just say,
There you go.
how many times did Max von Sydow work with Ingmar Bergman?
Igmar.
Ingmar Bergman.
Uh-oh.
Ingmar.
Yeah, Ignatius Binder. I don't think they'll know, but one never knows.
Come on, just give me the answer, guys.
Well, I think you praised it improperly, sir.
10.
10?
10 Bergman films.
Oh, okay.
Not too shabby.
Okay.
For me, the thing that I grew up with Max von Sydow, and the first film that I remember him from was when I was a kid, was Flash Gordon.
Oh, of course.
Which is a fun, guilty pleasure.
No, it's a horrible
I
film.
love that film.
Oh, I hate that.
It's a lot of fun.
Sam, what's his name? Is it Sam
Jones? Sam Jones, who later parodied it in Ted 1 and 2.
I loved it in the first Ted film. I just adored that.
You know, that film inherited a lot of the costumes.
From the original.
Well, no. From a lot of the costumes were originally designed for when when Alejandro Jodorowsky was going to be doing Dune. He was going to be doing this big epic. A lot of those things were leftovers from that set, from that movie. They never got used. So they used them in Flash Gordon.
I see.
Interesting.
Trivia.
But yeah, we lost him. He was a really fun actor to watch.
Guy, yeah.
And always added something special.
Well, The Seventh Seal, you know, and Wild Strawberries. You could go back in the Ingmar Bergman fantasy world there. He was always in the early stuff, The Magician. Oh, my God. And he was just wonderful. And he had that face, that sturdy Swedish head with that golden blonde hair. He really was a guy to just be reckoned with. And just a sweetheart of a guy. He worked with Woody Allen in a film. Do you know which one?
He did work with Woody Allen, yeah. I don't remember which one it was.
I'm sorry, your time is up.
Which one was it?
No matching luggage nor Proctor Silex splendor for you. The film he did with Ingmar, with Woody was called Hannah and Her Sister.
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah.
I saw that film.
It's
a good movie.
Yeah, he was. You know, Woody, speaking of entertainment banter here for a moment, Woody was supposed to have his memoirs come out, and the company that was going to publish him reneged.
Based on the pressure they were getting from the Me Too movement.
I guess some of the Me Too folks.
They didn't want it. Even his stepson, Ronan Farrow, was very much against it too.
I know.
He had a scathing little commentary that he put out, I think on Twitter, to denounce the whole thing.
Oh, he did?
And then they decided to shelve it. But I'm sure Woody still got his advance.
I don't care. I want to read that book.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
I bet you Woody's take on Woody's life is going to be funny, if anything more, certainly entertaining. He's an entertainer from day one in his life to, not in his life, but in his career. He was started up as a stand-up comedian. I'll bet that book is going to be
He can always just self-release it. He
he could just put it out on Amazon,
Yeah.
The dusty, musty world of Woody Allen or whatever.
Yeah.
Do it himself. But I love Woody, and I don't care, and little Sun Yan, or whatever her name is.
Sun Yi.
Sun Yi. Listen, people in the genius category have a tendency to, and there's no excuse for, listen, she was very, very, very young when he was, but, attraction is a funny thing, and it wasn't like he was just attracted to her because she was a young person. He truly was attracted to her personality because they're still together to this day.
Yeah. And it was consensual,
they are a
right?
couple. Absolutely.
How old was she?
She was like 13.
That's just messed up.
Well, yeah, but he wasn't actually doing anything with her. But when she was 16, apparently...
something occurred?
Mia came home one day, and this is from Mia's autobiography, so I really don't know if this is true, or you don't know what's true anymore. As long as Woody didn't write it. But apparently she came home and there were pictures of naked little Sun Yi like on the mantle and things.
Why would he do that?
I don't know why.
That seems like a very stupid thing to do.
Very stupid thing to do. It doesn't make sense that a guy like Woody, I think somebody framed him personally.
Yeah.
And maybe the pictures were taken, who knows. But it doesn't matter. But, he really loved this girl.
Yeah.
And this, who is now his wife. There was a documentary that was reviewed by Siskel and Ebert that he took her to Europe, and they traveled around, and she was wonderful, and and he's I don't want to go there, I don't want to go here, and she's saying, come on, let's go, you'll have a good time. She's really trying to convince him that, hey, come on, you're Woody Allen, we can do whatever you want, and it was wonderful. I thought you really could see how he really used her as a crutch, more or less.
Yeah.
Spiritually, more than anything, But, and she turned out to be a fairly, she's a beautiful woman, with, little glasses on. She looks very nerdy, but,
I told my sister she looked like, not Sun Yi, but Yoko Ono. She had these big sunglasses on yesterday. I said, you remind me of Yoko Ono.
Oh, jeez. Well, there you go. Well,
but yeah, so that's that. And then, obviously, the big story dominating the news is the coronavirus, the COVID-19.
Well, everything got moved. We had our James Bond movie.
Back to November, where it belongs. It does belong in November.
I don't know.
I like it in November. That's where they all come out.
Well, they were talking about changing the title from No Time to Die to Time to Die. And, I'm sorry, though, because...
They're losing $30 million in marketing.
Easily.
They said at least.
And, Daniel Craig was just on Saturday Night Live this past weekend to promote that film.
He's going to do it all over again.
Now he's going to have to come back.
Oh, they have to pay him more. But
well, I don't think he'll come back and do the show again.
He'll still have to do the promotions again.
True.
Because he's got
obviously so. The last time he hosted Saturday Night was back in 2011, where Casino Royale.
That was that long ago. Well, no, Casino Royale was 2006.
Was it 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe he was doing it for, what's it called? That movie Defiance, maybe?
Maybe he was doing it for the... Hey, Louie! Stop that. He's trying to have intercourse with my poor little Angie over there.
Little Amherst?
That's not nice, Louie. That's not nice.
Keep it to yourself.
Certainly not while the show is going on. Look, he wants forgiveness now. I'm sorry I humped little Angie. But anyway, let's get on with the show.
Let's start the show.
The show.
Yeah, so a little
a lot of coronavirus things. Coachella, all the music festivals.
South by Southwest was canceled.
God, everything.
People are second guessing.
South by Southwest, you mean the airline?
No, South by Southwest is the, bless you, the Music Arts Festival that happens this time. Actually, it would have been this Friday in Austin, Texas every year.
Oh, okay.
That whole movie, the Terrence Malick film, Night of Cups with Christian Bale.
Sure.
That all was shot at South by Southwest many years ago.
Right, great.
But that's been
canceled. Did not know that.
People are foregoing travel, as we know.
Certainly are.
The airlines are flying mostly almost empty airplanes just so they have to, I didn't know this, they have to maintain those routes or they lose their spots. And they lose their
but there's
seniority in the areas where they have the flight plans at the airports globally.
I'm sure there will become a stipulation that they're not going to have to.
Well, they're asking to waive that,
Yeah, exactly.
Just like in Italy with the whole country shut down.
Sure.
They're actually waiving people's insurance, their mortgage payments. which you got to address. If nobody can go to work, how are they going to pay their bills?
How are they going to pay their bill?
I hope if that happens here, I hope that they forego my rent because that's going to get.
Hey.
Yeah. But on to the show. We're doing another one of our fun shows tonight where it's
a fun show.
We surprise each other with things that we wanted to watch, not things that we felt obligated to watch.
True.
Things that we've been just in the mood to watch without feeling like, oh, I gotta watch this movie.
I gotta go to the
current.
movies and watch, Aladdin 3.
We gotta go see The Way Back with Ben Affleck because it's a big movie to open,
Well,
which actually looks okay.
I almost kind of want to see
I like the filmmaker. He did Warrior and he did The Accountant, which were both very good.
I do like.
And I hear that this is a very good, very personal performance by Ben.
It's a 3-star film.
Ben kind of worked through his own rehab and
his own
dissolution of his marriage through this performance.
Right.
So I kind of wanted to see it, actually.
Well, he was cheating on little Jennifer Garner there, and
yeah,
of course,
but then it led him into this downward spiral of
he was an alcoholism.
Yeah,
true. So this is,
regardless,
I like Ben. I thought he was.
I think he's come a long way.
I thought he was a great Batman.
I liked him as Batman.
I always love him. He appears on the Bill Maher show from time to time.
He does. He was only on just that one time.
No, I think
was it more than once?
Oh God, yeah.
Not since that appearance though, where they had a heated exchange.
So politically astute.
He is.
My God, he knows his politics.
He could run for office.
Right. Well, when he made Argo, you could kind of tell that he was very tuned in to the Mideast and the conflicts there and so forth. And I love Argo.
Me too. Before I forget, back to entertainment news for 1 second. Did you see the new rumors that for the new Batman film, they're circling Johnny Depp for potential Joker? Another actor,
cool.
taking on the mask of the Joker, the face paint.
Yeah.
Could be interesting. I think he'll do a good job.
I think so too.
But we'll see what happens. Right now, it's just a rumor.
I mean, it would be better if they a little time in between.
Yeah, why are they doing it? Why are they putting? Because then that means that they're putting all the villains in this film. They're putting in because we know that it's got Catwoman and Penguin already.
Right.
So that means they're going to add Joker too, unless they're looking at trilogy. Let's introduce all the characters, but we all know these characters already. We don't need any kind of introduction, really. But let's get to the show like we promised. So I'll do the first film.
Okay.
It's actually a film that's currently in theaters that I know you didn't care to see. So I'm going to be reviewing called The Wild.
Yes, I know you saw it.
I did get to see this in the theater. Okay. It's Harrison Ford.
So it is.
Taking on the iconic role from the famous Jack London novel of the same name. And it's basically a story really about a dog's journey. And in this film, it's a CGI dog. He's not real.
I know.
The whole movie, it's all computer generated.
I know.
And he
played by a little 17-year-old boy.
Probably.
Who Harrison got very close to during the making of this film.
Hopefully not too close.
I hope not. Well, they had to pry him apart. But
I like seeing Harrison. I'm pretty much in anytime I see him in anything. Big fan.
Me too.
And this fan, he's like, he's the guy who's kind of left society.
Yeah.
He wants to live up in the mountains in a cabin. We learn a little bit about his character.
He almost looks a little CGI right there himself.
I know,
just there's a kind of a funky.
But yeah, so this movie really is about this dog's journey from living in a small town, having a very comfortable life. He lived with a judge. And then he gets kidnapped.
He ran his own newspaper.
He did, yeah.
He had all kinds of things going on.
He did. He
was a very
seat at the table every week.
Very astute young dog.
That's him.
There's him.
His name is Buck. Got a lot of personality. And then he gets kidnapped. And he gets sold, and then he becomes a sled dog.
A sled dog? Is that like a slave dog?
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Because the middle section of the film is him as a sled dog, learning how to do it. And we have two people that control this sled.
Of course. They're all evil guys.
No, nice people.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, this is a black guy played by the French actor Omar Sy. And his wife in this film, S.Y. Yeah, that's him right here. And him and his wife in the film, who's Native American, they are basically mail carriers, but they do a long distance in Alaska, in the Yukon. And then he goes from that relationship, then he gets purchased by this sleazebag played by Dan Stevens, who's like one of the go-to villains these days.
Oh, yeah.
He's a rich guy who just wants to find more gold, him and his wife. And
Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
You got gold, you
want
more.
But during the film, there's several meetings with Harrison Ford, and then they become attached to the hip for the last half of the movie.
Okay.
And it's a very charming film. It's got some exciting sequences. I found it to be just a fun movie to watch. Really enjoyed it. It's a movie that you can take the kids to, but it's a movie that an adult can enjoy too and not feel like, oh, this is a kiddie movie. It's a good movie.
You mean so like anybody could enjoy this film?
Anybody could enjoy this film. Even you.
No, I doubt that.
Well, you'd like it.
I'll tell you one reason I wouldn't like this
because you don't want to see CGI dogs?
No, I don't like to see dogs of any kind.
Even if they're not real?
I don't. Even if they're not real, I don't want to see animals in a movie. I couldn't see The Lion King. Now those were all CGI animals. I think there's only one actual antelope in the film or something like that. But I just can't watch movies with animals because I just think that behind the scenes.
But they're not with PETA these days. You can't.
Well, no, that's
you can't.
Well, it's
not in
true.
America.
It's very true.
Not in America.
Listen,
maybe in Pakistan.
In the Wild Bunch, Sam Peckinpah actually sent an entire herd of horses down the side of a cliff.
That's different times.
I realize that. Well, John Ford used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
One of the things they used to do, and it was then suddenly banned by the Motion Picture Alliance with PETA, was that they used to use tripwires back in the old Beau Guest, all these big El Cid type epic films that they were making. They always had Charge and Light Brigade. They always had the horses. You'd always have that one camera angle, and down on the ground, and you'd see the horse literally go head over heels.
Yeah.
And what they did was the rider of the horse would drop a tripwire down, and very often, listen, the legs are a very fragile part of any horse.
Then they got to take it out.
They'd have to literally shoot the horse on spot, and just a horrible thing. The one thing I don't like about this dog, I saw just a clip of the film on a talk show with Harrison Ford. He was on Jimmy Kimmel about a month ago. And it was a good interview because Harrison's just a great guy, and
he's fun.
He's a super good guy, and you can tell he hates his job. He loves the filming aspect, but he hates the promotional.
He hates that. A lot of them hate that.
They all hate it. Well, they don't all hate it. Some of them get off on it. But like Paul McCartney, when he had the new record out, he loved it. He loved to go out and talk with the press, because they all would say, "Oh, Paul, you're such a genius," and he'd go, "I know." But the thing about this particular dog that I found repulsive was that you could see how CGI it was, because he constantly is emoting everything people say.
He was very animated.
Reacts.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
Oh, he's smiling now. Oh, look, he's unhappy. I mean, it's such bullshit. I mean, But
it's still for guilty pleasure. Okay. It's entertaining. I would recommend it. It is a big screen movie, so I would say it would be fun to see in the theater.
The scenery looks good.
It's gorgeous. It's a very beautiful area. I'd love to still go to
I'll probably see it on when it comes out.
And I think you'll enjoy it.
I probably will.
I think you
probably
will.
will.
Well, let's move on to your mystery first choice.
Okay, let's see what that could be.
What it could be.
Well, I don't know.
You hinted at the genre.
I did. It is. I'm in the horror genre this evening.
Someone is
Black Christmas.
Oh, I haven't seen this.
Well, Black Christmas is a remake of the 1972 film with Keir Dullea.
Yes.
And this is and also Olivia Hussey was in the original.
From Olivia Hussey was Romeo and Juliet.
She was Juliet in Romeo.
She was,
the Franco Zeffirelli 1966 film. Well, here's Imogen Poots right here.
Imogen Poots.
And this film is just horrible. And
this just came out on.
This came out
on video now.
I believe it's on video now.
Well, in the theaters, it was around Christmas time.
I believe so.
Obviously.
Well, obviously. Yeah. Sure. It's from the makers of Get Out and Halloween.
So Blumhouse.
Yeah, exactly. It's Jason Blumhouse.
Yeah.
And so I gotta say, this film. I originally read the review. Of course, let's talk about the plot just for a brief moment.
And the trailer already gave away who the bad guy is, too. It's annoying.
Well, no, not really.
It did. I think so.
Well, I'll be honest.
I don't want to give it away to the audience.
Okay, it's not a specific bad guy.
Okay.
Not a specific.
So it's several people.
Well, there's a fraternity involved.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with this film, and I'm going to get right into it here, because there are no, the ending of the film basically is where all the bad guys, every slasher film, the slasher guy usually dies in the end. Except there was that one great film. I loved it. It was one about a park, a theme park, and at the very end, the guy.
Oh, that wasn't bad. I saw that.
And he goes up and hugs his kid. You remember that film?
Yeah, I saw that film.
The killer actually goes up and...
You told me about that film.
Yeah, I did.
It wasn't called Hellride, was it? Something like that.
Might have been Hell... Yeah,
something like that, right?
It wasn't Hellride. That was the horrible movie that Tarantino produced.
That's right.
It was called...
But it's something like that.
It was, yeah, but it was Hell something. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But I like that film because there you're a perpetrator, you're a slasher, so to speak. At the very end of the film... he kills all the kids that he kills, and he horribly knifes them and stabs them. And then the end of the film is him going up to a house, camera is, very slowly crawling in. He goes in, and there's a little kid. Kid runs up to him, "Daddy!" He hugs the kid. The end.
Nice,
Credits roll.
nice.
It was good.
There's not a lot of movies where the bad guy wins.
Exactly.
There's only a handful.
Well, back in the old days, after Paul Muni was in a film called I Am a Fugitive from a Chain Gang, they thought, okay, now we're glamorizing thievery. We're glamorizing the bad guy. So the film, the MPAA, they all said no more of those. We have to make it so the bad guy always gets caught. We don't want to set an example to people.
Yeah.
In this film, this is so god awful, and I'll tell you something.
It looked terrible.
It is terrible. It's the women kind of take control here. There's a Me Too element that the women are gonna outdo the bad guys, and they're all everybody's Charlie's Angels these days. In these kind of chick flick movies. But this film is so ridiculous, I have to say. And I'm going to give it away. I don't give a damn. Because I don't want you to watch this film. It's just horrible. Now, Imogene, I like her. She's a British actress, and she's been in a lot of stuff. She was in something with Tom Cruise, wasn't she? I think she was in some... She did a movie with Aaron Paul. She did and it was a takeoff on a video game. And it was called, or was it? No, it might have been called Vanishing. The Vanishing. Or something, but anyway, it was not a video game.
Was she the one that was in the movie Come and Find Me? Was that her? No,
that wasn't her. But anyway, she's very good. She's a very personable actress. I like her. She's very warm. She's funny. She's cute. It's her. In this film, she's just constantly horrified. She's been raped by one of the fraternity guys. So they all get up and do a sexy kind of a Pussycat Dolls dance at the fraternity house, kind of teasing the guys, and they're all standing there. Well, then we find out that all the fraternity guys have joined this cult, and they are compelled to kill all these girls and whatever other girls they can kill. So they're going around, and you see him. He's over there, like in Jason or Mike Myers. Everywhere the camera goes, no matter, even if it's across town, even if it's under a subway, it's on a bus in Bayonne. There's your perp. They're ready to stab and kill the next person he possibly can, because that's it. The mystery of where is he coming from? Where is he going to strike next? Well, this film, we have this entire fraternity. We'd only find that out at the end. They've all taken this bizarre oath. God bless you.
Thank you.
Well, the Ebola virus does that to you. So.
It does, yeah.
You've probably still got remnants.
Unfortunately.
Now the corona's trying to push it out.
Yes.
And you're burping it out before us. I know.
The two viruses are battling it out.
Just a horrible movie, though. And the worst part about this is the supernatural aspect that all these fraternity guys have. I like the masks. I like the black mask look.
Looks like one of the masks you have.
Cool. Looks like one of the masks of the Man in the Iron Mask with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, you're right.
It was kind of cool. And but they all have taken this oath. They all have become this supernatural spirit, and they literally bleed black oil.
Stupid.
And that was the stupid part of the film. I just can't recommend it. I like the way the chicks fight back, but eventually they almost all die anyway, except for Imogene, of course.
Of course.
And then she kind of overtakes, and I think this girl might survive, but most of them do actually get killed, and it's fairly brutal. It's a typical slasher kind of film, but enough is enough. It's horrible. It's horrible.
Doesn't look good.
No.
All right, so moving on to
I only
my
did 4 pictures, sorry.
second choice here. I am doing Dark Waters with Mark Ruffalo.
Oh my God!
So I don't know if you've seen this film yet.
I have not seen the film yet. I have no desire to see it.
I'm a big fan of these type of movies.
I know you, and I'm not a big fan of these type of movies.
Well, I'll watch it for you. So basically, it's available to watch now, obviously at home. Mark Ruffalo is a lawyer. He's basically a lawyer that generally has just been defending big chemical companies.
Yeah, right.
He's part of a very prestigious law firm.
This is a true story.
It's based on a true story.
He's actually playing an actual lawyer who went through this.
He works for a firm, big firm in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Is this Flint, Michigan kind of thing?
No, it's in Ohio.
Well, I didn't know Ann was in here.
Yeah, he plays his wife. Anne Hathaway plays his wife. The firm is in Cincinnati, Ohio. Tim Robbins is his boss.
Okay.
But this guy, played by Bill Kemp, who's a great character actor. Bill Kemp, I love him. He's currently on The Outsider on HBO.
Okay.
He is a guy who lives in the state over in West Virginia, in Parkersburg. And he's a farmer whose farm has been poisoned, he's alleging, by this big chemical company known as DuPont. This film is all about DuPont and all the stuff that they got away with for a long time until they were held accountable.
This is a...
it's like a civil action, kind of, with John Travolta.
Well, it's a civil action, but also spotlight. This is a...
Well, it's an uncovering of the truth.
It's an uncovering of truth, but there's a word for that. It's called a... It's
Investigative film?
Well, investigative. No, there's another term that we've used earlier, but it's
All
not
right.
important.
But it's not a procedural though, because that's more like Law and Order kind of a thing,
Well, not necessarily, because it's a true story. It's it's kind of like Spotlight was.
Yeah.
And Spotlight was referred to as it's almost like an uncovering, but it's something that's already been in the news, but we're simply re-examining it close up with actors, etc.
And so, it's really cool. And so it's all about how he reluctantly gets involved in doing this, because the farmer.
Is this our director?
That's the director.
Okay.
Todd Haynes, who's done a lot of fairly well-known films.
Sure.
He did with Julianne Moore several films. He did Safe from the '90s. He recently did Carol with
Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett, and he also did.
Jeez whiz.
I'm fine. He also did a really good movie, Wonderstruck, which came out a year or so ago. So he's an interesting filmmaker, and so. This is
Thunderstruck.
Not Thunderstruck.
With
That's
AC/DC.
AC/DC song.
I love that.
Yeah,
song.
I know, it's good. Thunderstruck. So I really enjoyed this. I thought all the performances were really good. It's another one of those like reluctant heroes. He doesn't want to get involved at first. But his grandmother lives nearby of where this farmer is in West Virginia. So he feels obligated.
I love Bill Pullman too.
He's great.
I really do like
He has
Bill.
a small part, but he's good.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed this film. It's one of those movies that you get a little angry watching, because you know that this stuff really happened.
Of course.
You see how powerful the corporate world is in this country, especially.
Well,
it's corrupt as hell. They hold all the cards. They have all the money. So the little guy can't seem to make any kind of a fight.
They're poisoning the water.
This guy lost over 100 cows.
Did he?
And he knows something is wrong here.
Oh boy!
And so then he wants to initiate this lawsuit.
But he also lost 100. He also lost 100 cows worth of cow shit.
Probably.
So
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty.
But I really enjoyed this film. I love this film. I thought
you loved it.
I loved it. I liked it quite a bit.
Okay.
Really enjoyed it. It's very effective. It's very well made. Very well acted. I moved along at a good pace. I was never bored.
All right.
I didn't even stop it. I just watched it right through.
Really?
And it's a 2-hour film.
I know.
I really liked it a lot. If you like movies about lawyers, you like true stories, I think you'll really enjoy this film.
Just watch the documentary. Just watch the History Channel.
Mark Ruffalo, I think you'll enjoy this film.
I like Mark.
He did a good job.
Looks a little hulkish right
Well,
there.
he put on a little weight for the film, obviously.
Oh, good for him.
The film takes place in the 90s and in the early 2000s.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's funny. I had a cold last week.
I never
got over
a mask when I need
I got over it, and then this morning I started coughing a little bit. I don't understand why.
It's not a cough that gets you off.
It's the coughing that puts you off.
Exactly.
But I recommend this film. You can watch it online. It's very, very good. One of the better films I've seen lately.
All right, good.
Well, let's move on to your next choice.
Let's move on.
Dark Waters.
Dark
Your
Waters.
next choice.
My next choice is.
Drum roll.
I don't know what it is. Oh,
Orphan.
Orphan.
Oh, this is an older film.
Oh, I love this film. This is a 2011 film.
Yeah.
Here we have the illustrious Mr. Peter Sarsgaard. Peter Syncopated. What's his name? Peter
Sarsgaard.
It is Sarsgaard.
Yes.
Now, this film is so disturbing.
I heard it's based on a true story.
Oh my God! No, it can't be.
But there was a true story in the news similar to this.
You never saw this film?
No.
Now here's the young girl.
I know the twist because you told me.
And okay, here's the girl, and here she is as an adult.
Yeah.
Here she is today.
Yeah.
9 years later, this is what she looks like. But I'll tell you
You
something.
couldn't find one that said English. That was antes and después. That's Spanish.
I don't care. Listen, we have a diverse audience out there. I want to appeal to everybody.
Okay, good.
But here's what this film is about. This is about a couple who go to an orphanage. There's something wrong with Esther. Esther always wears these neck bands, and she wears a band around her
Produced
wrist.
by Leonardo DiCaprio and Joel Silver.
I know. Here she is as a young girl. Look how beautiful she
cute.
is now.
Yeah.
She's gotten very cute. But this film is so disturbing. It stars Vera Farmiga.
Yes.
And Peter Sarsgaard. And it's about a little girl, and everywhere she goes, mayhem ensues. The previous family, we find out, that have adopted her, she burned their house down. So there's a propensity towards violence. A lot of people die in this movie at her hands. She's a little girl. Then suddenly, she's attracted to the daddy, and when daddy doesn't accept her advances,
of course, yeah.
she turns on daddy, and here she is, comes downstairs. They just adopted her, and she comes down to seduce him.
Wow.
And here she is, all made up as a little tramp, basically. But I'll tell you something. This film gets under your skin. It's a 2-hour and 3-minute film. My God, it really does get you. I didn't turn it off because it was too long. I turned it off because, okay, I've had enough now. I turned it off because I just didn't want to be a part of this world for an entire 2-hour run. I really needed the break. But I love her. She's so good. And when they make her, then finally, I don't want to give anything away, so I'll be quiet. But, things, it's just a disturbing movie.
I've heard good things about it.
Oh, it's wonderful. I can't believe I'll lend it to you. I have the
Yeah, I
Blu-ray.
just never got around to watching it. Yeah.
Oh, it's really worth your time. Absolutely 100%. There's also a picture here of the black nun that right before she's murdered here by our
Isn't
little...
it CCH Pounder?
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think that's her.
She was a lot of
stuff.
She was on The Shield for years.
There you go.
Good actress.
This is a super weird, super creepy film. This little girl. We had a movie in 1956 called The Bad Seed with a little girl by the name of Patty McCormick. We've just kind of basically, we've gone the route here. This is The Bad Seed, 2011, and it's disturbing. It's creepy. I can't say enough creepiness about it, but it's really worth watching. It's so well made. Vera Farmiga, I just love her. Of course, she's now in all the Conjuring films, and she was in the Conjuring films, and she's also in another. Isn't she in another series also?
Well, she makes an appearance, doesn't she?
In what?
Doesn't she make an appearance as that character in one of the spin-offs?
I think she may, but
The Nun or something?
Well, The Nun is all part of the Conjuring world.
That's what I'm saying, but maybe she made the
I
appearance.
think she's at the beginning of The Nun. But anyway, let's move on.
Okay,
Very
check out
creepy.
Orphan.
I love this film, though. For me, out of 4 stars, it's a 3.5.
Great.
And in the horror genre, it's a 4-star flick.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Moving on to my third pick.
Many images will stay with you, unfortunately, and you will not want those images in your head, but they're there, and you really can't get rid of them. And that's the kind of movie I want to see.
And there are images that will haunt you in my third choice.
Oh, really?
It is, I would say, it's kind of a horror story.
Cool.
And it's...
Is that a real, true story?
It's not a true story. It's based on true things that have happened on our planet.
Let's get after it.
It's a film called Threads.
Oh.
If you've never seen this...
I've never seen this.
You gotta check out Threads. So this was a 1984 BBC TV movie all about a nuclear bomb going off in Britain. It's actually about nuclear war all over the entire world.
Okay.
But this focuses specifically in the UK.
All right.
And it shows you the week or two leading up to the event, and then it shows you the direct aftermath.
Kind of like 28 Weeks a little bit.
Kind of, with more detail.
Okay.
And it shows you, okay, here's the next day. Here's a few hours later. Here's a week. Here's a few months. And it takes you...
Step by step.
Yeah, and then eventually it takes you out. You see what it's like years later.
Okay.
And it's the most, I'd say, graphic and most in-depth, realistic look at the aftermath of nuclear apocalypse.
What about Chernobyl on HBO?
Chernobyl is excellent. If you haven't seen Chernobyl on HBO, it's wonderful. That's about a nuclear meltdown. Okay. And it's harrowing. But that's about the direct aftermath.
Oh, okay.
This covers that, but this is about bombs. Widespread.
Well, Hiroshima.
Hiroshima. Yeah.
And the
whole
aftermath
Nagasaki.
Of the mutant takeover
Exactly.
that the organic world of human becomes mutated through nuclear
Exactly.
creation.
And as I was watching this, I was
thing.
thinking to myself about that. I can't believe that we dropped the bomb. Like, we dropped 2. We did it twice.
Right.
And just...
It was Hiroshima, I believe Nagasaki.
Yeah, Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Yeah.
I think Hiroshima was first, correct?
It was.
Now, Fat Man and Little Boy.
Nowadays, right. And there was a movie also, the Fat Man and
Paul
Little Boy
Newman.
with Paul Newman.
Of course, yeah.
He played Oppenheimer, the man who created that particular bomb.
Yeah.
If you go to Hiroshima right now, they have a bomb it's a museum. Loaded with photographs, loaded with actual bones of people that were burned.
They have the shadow, the amazing shadow that was put on the wall after the blast of a human person.
Oh, boy.
It was so intense that
So
it
horrible.
made a shadow.
Well, rumor has it, and I've heard this is true a dozen times, that the Japanese people, if they see you are an American person specifically, they will follow you around to watch your reaction to specific
I'm sure.
things. Now, on the other hand, though, we should have a Pearl Harbor museum so that we can follow Japan. There is, and it's at the bottom of the damn bay
Yeah,
there,
I know.
you know, in the harbor there.
Yeah.
That's where they've left all these boats
I know.
here. They did go down. I'm not sure if they even got the bodies out of there. They must
I'm
have.
not sure, maybe.
But supposedly they say that there's many bodies that would have been trapped, but all these years later they've been decomposed, and even the
food.
bones have probably turned
Yeah.
into dust. But
But yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah. I mean, they had it coming,
Yeah.
but we didn't have to drop the bomb.
well,
like
we
did.
dropped the bomb because Truman
I know, it
wanted
was
to
a
drop the
symbolic
bomb,
thing,
and
and-
well, he wanted to make a, you know, he
statement.
was so angry
I know it was.
about, you know, FDR just kind of sat on his ass when that happened,
I know.
and when Pearl Harbor happened, and Truman just said enough is enough, and I mean, I understand where he was at, and also you have to remember that dropping a bomb of this caliber had never really been done before.
Never been done before.
They had done a
They did
test.
A lot of tests.
Well, they did
in
a
the
test out
deserts.
in Nevada.
They did.
And they did it on the set of a John Wayne film. That's where he got his cancer from.
Oh yeah.
John Wayne, Susan Hayward. It was just a movie that they were filming right out there.
In that area, yeah.
Every single person died of cancer
Not surprising.
from that specific. They were left in the fallout, and they
Terrible.
went weeks after. I think maybe even a month after, but there was still fallout debris
I know.
that affected each one of them internally, and they died from it.
It'll get you.
Even
And
even
this-
the Duke.
And
you
this
know.
movie gets into that in depthly, and
Oh,
it's
wow.
it's a horror show.
Well, I
highly recommend Threads
will
to
indeed.
everybody. It's a public service announcement that's anti-nuclear all
Well,
the
there
way.
you go.
This is not a movie for the faint of heart. It's very intense.
Good.
It's showing you the direct aftermath.
No, that's what I
People
wanna see.
trying to survive.
All right, cool.
It's an intense film.
I will check
And
it.
it's a disturbing film.
Good.
This film has a reputation for being that. And the director.
Where did you find this film?
I heard about it. I read an article of, I think it was a Vice article about the most horrifying movie you've never seen, and it was on Threads. And I read all about it, and then so I bought it on Amazon.
Oh,
Bought the
wow.
Blu-ray.
Okay.
But the director,
You got the actual Blu-ray.
I have the Blu-ray. Yeah, has a cool
wish you
cover.
would've brought it over.
I thought of bringing it over, but I
wish
didn't.
you would've, yeah.
Excuse me. The director though has had an interesting career. Mick Jackson. He did a movie that you loved, Denial. It's a movie
Denial.
called- Remember Denial? With Rachel Weisz and Timothy Spall.
Oh, yeah.
You know, denouncing the
No, right,
Holocaust.
That's the Holocaust. Yeah.
He also did The
That was a good
Bodyguard. He also did.
The Bodyguard with Whitney.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he did that. Very good. Very
I'm gonna
very.
get sick now because you're coughing and
sorry.
you're guffawing here.
I apologize.
I hope not.
He did Volcano and LA Story. A lot of good stuff.
Oh, Volcano with Albert Finney.
No, Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones.
I believe
90s.
Albert Finney was in that film.
Was he? I don't
I'm
remember.
almost
Maybe he
betcha.
was.
Yeah, he was.
Could be.
Yeah.
But I really love this movie. Really
Okay,
recommend it.
good.
It is a tough movie.
I'll
I
watch
think
it.
you'll really
No,
like it.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah, check out Threads.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're gonna go to your
We never
next
showed
choice.
that there was a chubby-faced lady right there, and she never showed up in your picture scan.
Where? On part two?
In no, go back. No, in Threads.
Oh. She's
Yeah. Where is she? Are there more pictures or no?
There's a few more over here.
Oh, no. There she is. Oh,
Yeah,
no,
that's
that's the same
Same girl. Yeah.
Same girl.
She's the lead.
It almost looks like Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on. to
Yeah,
the
that girl
girls.
that you're seeing is like pregnant throughout the whole film, so that's
Oh, wow.
creepy.
Wow,
All right, so your third choice is. Oh.
Okay, this is a brand new film. There's only 3 pictures of it here. I'm not going to go into it too long.
Jack in the Box.
But
it's
I
called.
kind of like this film. I only saw it about a week ago. It's a 2019 film. And it's about a couple. This is a British film. Oh, Jesus, man. Go get a napkin or something.
No, this is the protocol.
Maybe you could put a Kotex around your face
No,
like
this
John Lennon
This
did.
is one of the protocols that say cough in your sneeze. That's why I always cough.
Oh,
I never
okay.
cough into the open.
Well, you're supposed to... Okay, whatever. Anyway, yes. Here we go. The Jack in the Box is kind of based on... the specific movements of the creature are very similar to the alien in Ripley Scott's film. No, don't get closer to me.
I'm
Back
not kidding.
away
What do you
a
think
little.
I'm doing?
Okay. Anyway, it's simply
He's a baby about everything, by
I'm
the
not
way.
a baby because I'm going to get sick now because you're sick. And you're sitting, 3 feet from me and you're coughing every 12 seconds. Gee, you were fine during dinner and now you're all messed up, dude.
It's because I'm talking a lot.
Yeah, well, don't talk so much.
I let you do all the talking at dinner.
Yeah, maybe you should
Yeah.
shut up. Anyway, so Jack in the Box basically is about they find this beautiful metal casing and so forth.
So
and,
it's a Jack in the Box.
It's a Jack in the Box, and it's like you don't get onion rings though, like the Jack in the Box. When you go to the drive-up.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, this is what the Jack in the Box basically looks like.
Creepy.
But now the Jack in the Box has these incredible turning kind of Guillermo del Toro kind of wheels and spinning, kind of like in Hugo. You remember how we had all these great gears and moving and things? And the whole box that he's in is kind of this very cool box. And when you're alone, now he has a quota. He has to kill 6 people. And so forth. So he kind of comes out, and he'll literally do the alien head turn, which when the alien looks at you, he goes like this.
Creepy.
You know, and he turns his head to look at you, and it's really quite entertaining. I have to say.
Why does he have a quota?
I don't know, but every time a new owner, now he can't, whoever opens the box originally, he can't kill that person. Oh. But there's a young guy in the film, he kind of reminds me of the kid in Bully. The kid who kind of went missing for a while.
Oh, was it Brad Renfro?
No.
The other one.
The other
Nick
one.
Stahl.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Nick Stahl went missing.
He did. He was on Skid Row.
Right. So the guy who's in this film looks very much like Nick Stahl. He's a British actor. I couldn't get any pictures of him though for some guy.
Sometimes you can't find him.
Anyway, this thing ends up he ends up going to a museum, and late at night he just kind of comes out and kills people, and it's very well done. I have to say, I like the creature, I like the makeup, I like the way it was handled. It was just kind of a fun little goofy. You know, it probably gets 2 stars on IMDb,
most likely,
or a 3.2 out of 10. But at the same time, I kind of enjoyed it. It was a little bit of a guilty pleasure for me. And staying in my horror theme this week, I just wanted to continue going. And I like this film. It's stupid as hell. But the creature, when he does come out, he kind of shines. He kind of brings this whole thing. They put all their money on the creature itself.
Great, well, that's important.
It is important. You know, you want to have
crux of the movie.
Photography and well-paced film, etc., which it is. It's not horrible. There's some bad acting going on, but not too much. I have to say, overall, for me, as a horror film, horror films always do bad in the IMDb world. You'll see many, many good horror films that I enjoy at a 4.4, 4.5. But you have to always preface every film that you do see. If you like this genre of film, it's up there. It's up there. You never see a horror film. I think The Exorcist was or maybe Alien was probably the second horror film ever nominated for a Best Picture Oscar.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if Alien was nominated. I have a feeling it was in '79.
Maybe the second one, I don't know.
I don't know, but no, I don't think Aliens.
Well, she was up for an Oscar for 2.
Well, was she?
Yeah.
Oh, she should have been.
Yeah.
Anyway, regardless, let's move on. I kind of like this. I like that poster too. I like the red and the blue But he's cool, man.
He looks neat.
And he's actually played by a Swedish actor, a fairly young, like 22-year-old guy, and he has that kind of a I think.
I wonder if he's the same guy that's taking over the role of Chewbacca.
No,
it's not that guy.
No, he's
Swedish.
Yeah, no, he's too young. This guy's very young.
Well, so what rating would you give it among the horror world?
I'm going to say, for me, it's a 3-star film.
Okay.
It's a 3-star film. If you judge this amongst the Citizen Kanes of the world, where Citizen Kane is a 4, and then I'm giving this a 3, doesn't quite shell out. But if you're judging it in the horror genre, which you have to, on that, sliding scale of bad stuff, you have to take it with that grain. So in the horror genre, The Exorcist being a 5-star film,
of course,
I would give this a 3. I truly would. I thought it was fun. Let's move on.
Okay. Very cool. My next pick is completely random.
Well, I like your randomness here.
I love random.
I am staying in the horror genre, and I wanted to kind of delve out. And I had another pick. I had a couple of Criterion films I wanted to mention. But then I just decided, the hell with it. I'm just going to go with with it.
Maybe I'll do a theme one of these days.
Maybe you should.
And I'll give you $5 if you can guess what movie the next one is. Could be anything.
Give me a hint.
I won't give you a hint.
How could I possibly...
it's an early 80s film.
I hate that when people just say stuff like what you just said.
I don't want to give you a hint.
Go ahead. What's my next film? How the hell do I know?
Well, it could be something, you never know.
Yeah, but it could not.
It could not be.
Where do I start in my head?
I'm not going to make you... I won't make you.
Thank you.
It is... My Dinner with Andre.
Oh,
1981.
God. Oh, what a horrible film.
I actually like this film.
Well, the imagery in this film is
It's a very unique film.
No, it is.
This must have been...
nominated. I think it was nominated for... was Best Documentary, anyway.
Well, not documentary.
Well, not documentary.
It wasn't a documentary.
It wasn't really a documentary.
Screenplay, maybe.
But I'll tell you, Ebert and Siskel, adored
They
this
do.
film. They
He even
love
has a
this.
commentary on this.
I know, I believe it.
So this film's on the Criterion Collection.
Yep.
It's a 1981 film starring Wallace Shawn, who has been in films
Louis
for a long
Malle
time.
film, yep.
Louis Malle directed this film.
Absolutely.
It also stars Andre Gregory. They
Right.
both wrote the film,
Yep.
and it's based on a play that they
Right.
both wrote and starred in.
Yeah. I
It's
just
just
saw
about.
Wallace Shawn recently in something.
He still
too.
works quite a bit.
Yeah, he was in a film. It was like and he was laying in a hospital bed.
Okay.
Can't remember what the film was, but here's Andre. I believe he's
Yeah,
quite dead
he's,
now.
no, he's alive still.
Is he?
I'm pretty sure he is.
Wow, I'm shocked.
So this film is really just about two old friends, and they basically play themselves, Wally
Right.
and
Yeah.
Andre, who haven't seen each other in a while.
Right.
They're having a nice dinner at an upscale New York restaurant, and that's the movie. It's a whole dinner, and it's like in real time.
It's like two popes.
Yeah,
It's two guys-
and it's them
two guys
talking,
talking.
and they're talking about their lives and different experiences,
Interesting experiences.
and different points of view on life in general.
Correct.
I don't know. It's not. I can say it's not a film for everybody, but I really thought it was very interesting. I thought it was a very unique film. I think it must have been
is.
a continuity challenge to continue to keep things right. Okay, your water glass is up to the level. You've
Okay,
eaten as
I'm
much.
starting to get air from your
You know,
mouth or over.
I think it was a very
Please step back.
challenging film to make,
I believe that.
and I think it's a lot of fun. It's not a comedy. It's listed a little bit of a comedy as a drama.
There is some comic elements.
Some.
To the Wallace Shawn character.
little bit. I don't remember laughing
and
too
there's
much.
There's a humoresque rapport between
No,
them,
there is.
which is quite
Yeah.
attractive and so forth. I will say this, so you can be quiet for a moment.
Go ahead.
One of the great things about this film, here's their waiter.
Their waiter.
Very classy
There's
guy
only
that he
4
is.
actors in the whole movie.
Okay, there's a film that's like, I believe it's 8 hours long, and it's called Showa. And it was actually brought back into the world of cinema right around the time that Schindler's List came out. It
The
was
show
brought-
is a foundation that
Correct.
Spielberg started.
Exactly.
Holocaust survivors, right?
Precise. And
Yeah.
what it is literally people just sitting there talking. There is no cut to concentration camps or anything
Yeah.
like that. That's all in that other great...
The one we watched.
No.
The short documentary you
No,
told me about?
there's
No?
another 4-hour documentary that is called not the Sound and the Fury. It's called, but it's a very famous documentary on the Holocaust, and
Okay.
they literally do all the graphic scenes that
Yeah.
you don't want to know about. But the beauty of it is that it's just people sitting there talking, and the imagery that they provide by just telling stories is so vivid in your mind.
Yeah.
And I remember Siskel saying the precise same thing they said about this film was that the beauty of it is that even though you're sitting there watching two guys talking, or you're watching an 8-hour film of people talking about their experience in the Holocaust, you're still creating images in your head that you do just by a normal
Yeah,
storyteller in
exactly.
your midst. We're all just imagining, that's his story. And we're just imagining
Yeah.
the basics of a story entering our soul, and we're relating to it. So, both Ebert and Siskel said, after you're done seeing this film, there's so many vivid images that are created by their conversation
Yeah.
that you literally almost feel like, gee, did I just watch two guys talking? Or did I actually, you're envisioning half of what they're saying. So there's that very personal element, and
There
that's
is.
the beauty of this
And
film.
there's a lot of realism. It doesn't seem like they're acting.
Correct.
They're just,
probably not.
Yeah, they're both, yeah.
Probably both sat down and had a talk, like
Yeah,
you and I.
I'm sure.
At a lunch
It was
counter.
the basis of the conversation, you know?
Some shitty restaurant like a Chili's or something.
most likely,
You
yeah.
and I sat down and we're talking,
Of
and
course.
suddenly I'm saying, "Hey, you like movies?" And you're going, "Yeah, do I like movies?
Exactly.
Do you know this movie?" And I go, "Do I know that movie? Do you know this movie? Do I know that movie? Do you know this movie?
Exactly.
Do I know that movie?" And we just sat, and suddenly
Had
the
you
next
not
thing-
had that Premiere Magazine, it might never chimed
might
in.
never chimed in, but the next thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire.
I think it was maybe the second or third time that I had seen you.
I think it was
that
the second time.
Chimed in.
Yeah.
Wasn't the
Because-
first, I know that.
Yeah, no, it wasn't, because I just came in, I sat down.
You're always the late lunch kind of a guy,
there's
after
nice
2 p.m.
guy. Yeah, I came in around 3:30 to
yourself.
have my lunch.
For you, it was breakfast.
To me, well, no, that was, basically. I mean, I never ate breakfast.
No, but it was
I
your
don't
first
eat
meal of the
breakfast in
day.
my life, but
Yeah.
true. I came in, I sat down, and the next thing you know, as soon as that Premiere Magazine was out there, and suddenly I looked at you, and you just went, oh, and our eyes just electrically, like a little lightning bolt.
Exactly.
It just shot, and I just went, wow, this guy knows movies.
And I heard you talking on the phone to a friend of yours about movies and stuff. So
What's
I'm
that?
like, oh, yeah, you're on the phone with somebody. And my first reaction was, I thought you were in the music business. I thought you were like a music producer.
Well, they should be.
Because New York's right here. You could have been coming in to see a client.
I have that bon vivant kind of man of the world kind
and
of.
nobody else has your appearance, eccentric.
Well, very true.
But anyway, back to this. I just
Talk
was
about eccentric.
very. I was just very impressed with the way this film was handled.
Yeah.
It just felt so real.
True.
And I gotta say, Andre Gregory does a bulk of the talking in this movie.
Yeah, he is wonderful.
Stop. He has like 10 minutes where he doesn't stop talking. Monologues.
Yeah, I bet there's
very, very impressive film.
Absolutely. I don't think that this was dialogue that he. I think this was I don't think this was a by the book shoot. I think.
Well, there might have been some improvisation, yeah.
Total improvisation.
Yeah. But there was a screenplay, and this was based on a play.
I believe that
so
completely.
They
but it's
could have riffed a
play,
little bit.
But it would be like you and me creating a play or a movie about our opening experience, and all we really had to do was just be ourselves.
I know.
And just communicate with each other, and I think that's basically how the crux of this started.
Yeah.
I think they're probably friends in the
real
first
life,
place.
very much.
Absolutely.
He used to direct Wallace Shawn in plays.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
So they sat down and had dinner one night and said, "Hey, this might make a cool little film."
Yeah, and the film is it's to cut you off, but it's deep, it's philosophical. They talk about some very out there things.
Please don't get too close.
I'm not, but it's just a very interesting film. I recommend it
100%.
to any student of film.
No,
let's move on.
It's a wonderful, but
really enjoy it.
I'll bet this was originally like an 8-hour film, and I'll bet Louis Malle, because Louis just said talk.
Yeah,
just talk.
Could be.
Do what you want to do. Talk and talk and talk, and we'll take the best parts and we'll zap it over.
And for those that were curious, Louis Malle did Vanya on 42nd Street. He did Atlantic City with Burt Lancaster.
I believe he did Pretty Baby.
Yeah, he did
with
The Lovers.
Susan Sarandon.
Yeah, Susan Sarandon also in Atlantic City.
Yeah. Well, I love that film.
Yeah,
that's
it's a good film.
Two Susan Sarandon. Yeah. That was Brooke Shields' first film, Pretty Baby.
That's right.
Set in a whorehouse. I like that. I like Pretty Baby. It's quite a good little film.
Let's move on to your next one.
Let's move on.
So Daryl's fourth choice is Insidious.
The entire Insidious. I watched all 4 films. I sat down. Now, of course, we've just
looks like Darth Maul.
Kind of, in a way. It looks like one of the masks I would purchase from a distributor. Here he is. This film promises the devil. I got to say something. The very first Insidious film. Now, I've reviewed this film before, the very first one. I think maybe even Insidious 2. There are 4 of these. And there's I put a little GIF on here for you. Here's Patrick Wilson.
Yeah.
Here's this is the lady who became the nun, by the way.
Oh yeah,
you can probably see the generational.
And Rose Byrne's in these films with him.
Rose Byrne is in the first.
Wife.
She's in the first 2. The third one is a complete. That's a separate issue. That's a prequel to these films, and they're all directed by the same guy who directed.
That we just discussed last week. Who did The Invisible Man?
Right.
Correct.
And his name is.
His name is Lee.
Lee Oswald.
No.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
It's Lee.
He also shot
Lee 1L.
He also shot John F. Kennedy
he did.
Behind the Grassy Knoll many years ago. But anyway, here we go. I believe this was a GIF too. Okay, so let me get to the gist of this film because I really like.
So you're doing all Insidious in one?
All Insidious, all 4 of them. Now we have the little gray-haired old lady, and I don't know her name, and I don't want to know her name. It doesn't really matter. She's a famous person, and her name is like Charla Briff or something. It doesn't matter what it is. But here she is right here. She's in all 4 films. And she actually dies in the first one. I'm giving it away.
Okay.
And she kind of enters this other dimension. And it's so cool. I love the way this film goes. And I tell you, the first Insidious film is frightening. It's directed by James Wan.
Wan. No.
Is it James Wan? Yeah, it's James Wan.
I think so.
Yeah, he directs the first one.
That's creepy.
And then the second one, he doesn't direct. But it's a direct, it picks up exactly where the first one left off. It's Patrick, and here she is again, and she's a medium. So their little boy goes into a coma, and while he's in this coma, spirits from the world of the dead are trying to get to him. They're trying to enter his body because he's alive and they are dead. So they are attracted to his life force, and they want to overtake that life force so that they too can be alive. And in doing so, this little boy is just in this horrifying dimension of he's in a half world. He's not actually in a coma. He fell in the basement because he saw some spirit, and he's now been kept there by these dead folk, and they are keeping him in this comatose world, so they can enter his body, as I just said. So, the little old lady, the white-haired person, who is brought in, she's a medium, and she knows Patrick Wilson's mom, played by the lovely Barbara Hershey, by the way. And Barbara's calls her and says, listen, something's happened to my son's son. He's in a coma, and we need you. So she comes in, and she has this ability to literally go into a comatose trance herself. And in doing so, now she's been in many horror films. She's strictly a horror babe now, this older lady. She was just in a Monkey's Paw remake, which was actually pretty good. She's good, though. But I'll tell you something. This series is frightening. You go into this dark world with her. She walks through this, and there are dead people sitting around, and she's walking through this dimension. And then, of course, we then find out that Patrick Wilson, as a young boy, he had the same abilities to kind of enter this dark, demonesque world that is where the spirits live, and the ability to see the dead. And I tell you, it's frightening. It absolutely, I literally was downstairs in my basement watching this while I work out on a specific night, and I was petrified. I literally said, no. Once again, it's only an hour and 40 minutes, this film, which is a little long. Most horrors are 130, 129, 122 sometimes. But, this film is a spooky little piece of work, and it got under my skin, and I was scared. People, I was afraid. I cried like a baby. And I did, too. But I'll tell you, it promises the devil. Damn it, it delivers the goods. You want hell? Here it is. You don't have to wait for, Donald Trump to be out of the White House. Actually, we're going through hell right now. But I'll tell you something. I love this series. The second one is just the sequel to now Patrick Wilson has become this evil spirit, kind of goes into Patrick Wilson, so that all has to go away. The third film in the series is a young girl, comes out of nowhere, and she, it's a whole separate story.
Yeah.
It's a whole separate story of how basically our old white-haired lady got into the biz. And it kind of tells us where that all kind of came to be. She'd always been a kind of a medium and be able to not necessarily read cards and things like that. But the fourth film, which is called the Last Key.
Skeleton Key? No, Last Key. You're right.
The Last Key. Skeleton Key is
Kate Hudson. You're right.
No, not Kim Hudson.
Kate Hudson was in that Skeleton Key.
Is it Kate and Bill? Bill from the show on HBO that he's on. Bill, what's his name? No, Skeleton Key is. I think it's.
There's a movie with Kate Hudson called Skeleton Key. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Anyway, the fourth one is frightening. I'll tell you, this film just got to me. It's about basically a serial killer, and he keeps bodies in the basement. And I tell you, I jumped 15 times during that film, and very, very creepy. It's a great series. I can't say enough about it. If you're a horror buff like myself, I love to be scared, but not too scared. I don't want to go to bed thinking about this stuff, but unfortunately, with these films, you kind of do a little bit. So there you go.
Cool.
The Insidious series, I loved it.
Very good.
Love them. Yeah, they're wonderful, and they're all directed or written by Evie Lee
Whannell. He wrote them all.
Whannell. Yeah, he basically wrote them all.
He did.
And he stars in them too. Yeah. He's one of the Ghostbuster guys.
Okay.
That the old lady comes and brings with her as she goes to each house to, exorcise whatever demons are there. And they kind of come along. And he's just a regular guy. He doesn't seem like any great, you wouldn't think, oh boy, what a great talent he is. Because he directs Invisible Man and he's a part of it. He stars in it. I don't think he's in it though. But
no, he's not in it.
But he's in all of these, and he's just he's very he's amazing.
He's good.
I got to say, he's definitely created, and he's kicked Universal right off into the he hit it out of the ballpark.
I agree, he did a great job
with the Invisible Man.
Loved it.
It's really a great way. Now the next person that they wanted to hire was they wanted James Wan to do one, but of course he's doing Aquaman 2 right now.
Yeah, but I heard he's going to do a monster movie.
He's gone into the big.
He's doing some kind of monster movie.
Yeah, and then they also hired somebody else to do a monster movie. I just read the other day. Doesn't matter.
Let's move on. My last choice is Jeremiah Johnson, Robert
Oh, there you
Redford.
go. Oh, that's a great film.
1972.
Okay.
It's a Sidney Pollack film.
It is.
A filmmaker who I admire not only for his directing, but as an actor. I like him
I
too.
love him.
I love him in
Eyes
Wide Shut.
Oh my God.
Great performance.
Tootsie. He plays.
Tootsie, yeah.
He plays Dustin's agent. He is.
He directed it
dynamite.
too, right? I'm pretty sure he directed
He
Tootsie.
directed it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is another wilderness movie.
Yeah.
He's a
My
guy.
doppelganger, by the way.
A little bit.
Yeah, and people
times.
used to come up to me all the time. Excuse me, Mr. Redford, can I have your autograph? And I'd say, sure.
That's funny.
I give him a little autograph.
But yeah, so it's about a guy who just wants to live and be a mountain man, and he learns how
Yeah.
to do it because he was not from that area.
Right.
And it's all about his little misadventures, the people he meets. He gets married to a Native American woman in an arranged marriage.
Wait a minute. Is this the guy from Spinal Tap?
I don't know, but he's been in a ton of stuff.
He's the guy from Spinal Tap.
think you're right.
You know, and they walk up to him and they say, you're a piece of work or whatever. And he says, I am as God made me, sir. He's the
think that is him.
concierge
Yeah, I think you're right.
at the
You're right.
hotel.
But this is a very interesting movie. I
It is.
enjoyed it. Robert's great.
Yeah.
He's very good in this film. It's just an enjoyable movie. It's
Yeah.
just an outdoorsman tale.
I agree.
There's actually some cool little moments that you can learn tricks. Oh, that's pretty cool. Like, for example, there's a scene where he's sleeping outside on the dirt. And he was told, oh, take the coals from the fire, bury them, and sleep on top of the soil.
Wow.
And so it keeps you warm.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. But in the film, you see,
I'll have to try that.
he didn't...
Oh, Jesus, Mary and Fred. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that this cannot go through the camera
It can't.
eye.
It's just a
I'd
cough.
hate to think that,
nothing else.
we're all going to die because of this guy here.
He didn't bury them deep enough, so he was getting burned. It was kind of
Oh,
funny.
well, we've all been burned
But
before.
I really enjoyed this film.
Yeah.
I've wanted to see it for years. Never really got around to it till recently.
What year did it come out?
72.
72.
Yeah, I believe it's
well, right
72.
around that time, believe
Yes,
it or not, like in
72.
67, 66, 68 perhaps, there was a wonderful little movie out there that was kind of in the same genre that I loved called The Stalking Moon.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a film with Gregory Peck, and his family is butchered by Indians. So he literally goes after them and stalks them, and he goes, over mountains and valleys,
Yeah.
and it's just a wonderful, wonderful movie to get revenge. And revenge flicks are right
They're
up there.
always fun.
Yeah, I love revenge flicks.
Yeah, we all do.
Just watched Columbiana the other day,
That's a
which
good one.
I'll do. And
With the lovely Zoe
little
Saldana.
Zoe Saldana. Her parents are killed when she's like 5 years old, and she grows up to be an assassin and just goes back and annihilates all
Yeah.
the people, right down to the final guy. It's a masterpiece of just pure. The editing in that film. Also, the director. It's a Luc Besson
Produced film.
production.
He didn't. Yeah.
But the guy also directed Taken 2 and some of the other,
Yeah.
a lot of high velocity chase.
it was a good film.
Revenge
It's
type.
a 2011 film, I
it's
believe,
great
yeah.
fun. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I love it.
But I definitely recommend Jeremiah Johnson.
No, I agree.
It's a fun film.
It is.
It's somewhat of a classic.
No, absolutely.
It's just very enjoyable. It's an easy watch.
I think it put.
He's
Robert,
kind of an asshole at times too in this film,
Is
a
he?
little bit,
Okay.
a little off-putting to people around him because he doesn't want to be bothered, and
Yeah.
but I enjoyed it. And then he makes some choices, and there's repercussions to those choices, things that happen. It's interesting. I
It is
really
indeed.
enjoyed it.
After Butch Cassidy, I think he was kind of stereotyped a bit as a pretty boy, and I think that he started making movies like this.
Yeah.
He started making Downhill Racer. He started to make Jeremiah Johnson. There's a couple, I'm trying to think what else he did in that same league of just that individual, an individual perpetrating his own individuality. Oh, Jesus. You're witnessing the life and sad death of my co-host, Mr. Chris Picard. I'm so
it's just
sorry.
a cough. I apologize.
It's just a cough that gets you off.
Yes.
But it's a coffin. They
But he
take
did
you
around this
often.
time, The Candidate, I believe he did.
He did do The Candidate, which I believe is
Brubaker
also,
was
is
a
that
film.
Yeah, that was another one. That
Prison
was,
movie.
Yeah, what's his name? Gagliano was that? No, the guy. What's his name? From Sopranos. He was in that film. Brubaker, I believe.
Who? James Gandolfini?
Tony. Yeah, was it James in that?
You're thinking of The Last Castle with Mark Ruffalo.
Oh,
that was
are
the early
correct.
2000s
That's
film.
correct. You
Prison
are right.
film.
Yeah, it was a prison film.
But I'm going to move on. I really enjoyed this. I recommend it. You can watch it online.
No, I agree.
It is a classic. And it's great to see Robert, because he's retiring.
Yeah, even if you're sick and fucked up,
Stop.
it's good to see him. No, you're a mess, man.
So your last film?
My last film is, I don't even remember what it is. Oh, look.
Oh!
It's House of a Thousand Corpses. The illustrious,
Rob
now
Zombie.
dead, as you will soon be, Sid Haig He died from old age, unlike yourself, who's going to die from this horrible virus that you're
It's
now.
a cough.
It's
a run-of-the-mill cold.
That's what he says. Yeah, right.
I was over it.
Yeah, sure.
And then this morning,
yeah, we're all
this
over
afternoon,
it.
I just started feeling the cough again.
Don't talk so loud so that you're projecting the missiles, the meteorites. I don't know. What'd you do?
I didn't touch anything.
Oh, well, go back.
Did you put a wrong
I didn't
picture?
do anything. Maybe.
No, maybe you put a file that wasn't good.
All right, now here is the illustrious little. Here's Rob Zombie and his wonderful wife, little Moon Zappa here. I just love her. She's wonderful, and she's an evil little bitch in this film. Here we have Chris Hardwick. Here's Rainn Wilson over there, the stars of this film. Rob is doing it. You know, I totally forgot about this movie.
Yeah.
I went back and watched it again, and there's Rainn Wilson. Chris
This
Hardwick.
was his directorial debut.
This was
Zombie.
Rob's, and it's a great little horror film. This guy, of course, has followed through The Devil's Rejects and that Three from Hell piece of garbage. And he was also, I believe, in that, there's a movie called 13, which is a prison movie where he's just kind
All
of...
Rob Zombie films.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not a zombie film. 13 is a movie about a...
No, but no, I'm saying all Rob Zombie films.
Yes.
He directed them.
Yes, correct.
That you're mentioning.
Correct. I love this girl, though. She's just a cutie from head to toe. She also did a movie called, directed, I believe it's directed by him, and it was called The Sentinel. It was kind of a retake on the old Sentinel movie with Chris Sarandon that happened many, many years ago. Here's a nice little drawing of Sid. Sid really is the star of this film to some extent. He's the image that you take with you from this movie. But it's basically about a group of kids that's the old, kids on...
It's a Texas Chainsaw ripoff, kind of.
It is a Texas Chainsaw ripoff all the way. They even have Dad, who's sitting at the head of the table, yeah, kill them all, kind of thing. Who does make a really wonderful cameo. More than a cameo, an actual star appearance. Some kind of gift got lost in the sauce here.
Yeah.
But Karen Black is in this film. You might remember Karen.
Horror royalty.
She was in, absolutely, she was an Easy Rider, for God's sake. No, she wasn't really a horror royalty.
She was in a lot of horror films.
She was in the Trilogy of Terror.
She was in that, the one with the little pygmy guy.
Right, that's a cool one. But she basically was doing, she did a diner movie, I believe, with... she was in some diner film that was a Robert Altman movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She was
Bill Moseley, right?
That is Bill Moseley, correct. Very good. Had you not said his name, I wouldn't have known it, but now that you've said it, that's who that is. So, it's a lot of fun. It's gory. It's fun. It's, it's the bad guys hunting the cute little kids and doing it with great gusto and torturing and maiming them to great degrees. And I always find that, I always find that entertaining. I like seeing, I can't believe what I barely knew that Chris Hardwick was in this film.
I know.
I like Chris Hardwick very much. He did a wonderful show on A&E or whatever it was, or one of the, I think it was MTV even. He did a show, and it was a trivia show, that it was an internet trivia show, and it was great, and then it got canceled. And it was a shame because I loved the show. It really was great. But, Sid, I saw Sid at one of the festivals, the Chiller Theater festivals.
Yep, I met him too.
Such a cool guy, and he was immense. I remember him, he was at the back wall as you walked into this room, and the guy literally was like 6'4".
Big guy.
He was huge. He was a big guy. Here he is in the dark here. As you can tell, it's
Very
completely black there. But, in fact, you can now move on.
Let's move
get
on.
rid of it. But, I like House of the Thousand.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, and she's just, she does a great little Betty Boop number where she mimes along to a Betty Boop song, and she's just a cutie, man. She's
not bad.
She's good. Well, Rob knows, he's no dummy. So there you go, folks.
All right, those are our films.
Those are our films.
We'll just briefly touch on what's coming out.
What's coming out this week?
So,
Chris?
not a lot's out this week. We have Bombshell out, which we covered on this show.
I just saw Charlie's Angels there. Was that Charlie's
Yeah,
Angels?
but that officially came out on Blu-ray today as well.
Oh, it did?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well,
it was out on streaming platforms up until today.
You could have showed it.
I did. It's right here.
Well, here
it's the next one
right
in line.
here. There you go. From the director of Pitch Perfect 2, which of course
Exactly.
is the lovely Elizabeth
Banks. So we have Bombshell.
We did review that.
Charlie's Angels. We reviewed both.
Yeah.
And we reviewed Uncut Gems, which is now out on Blu-ray as well.
Loved it.
Great film.
Loved it. Can't,
one of my favorites of last year.
Just a great little piece of psycho babble. Yeah. This is a psycho
It's a man
film.
spiraling out of control.
Truly so.
And then opening in theaters, a few things. We have the big Vin Diesel superhero movie, Bloodshot.
Not a big Vin fan.
Not dying to see it, but looks okay.
Yeah.
He's like a nano guy. He dies.
Yeah.
Government brings him back, and he's got nanotechnology with him.
There you go.
Don't want to see this with Bautista.
I love Dave, though.
Me too.
I really love him in the Guardians of the Galaxy
It's a family comedy.
Yeah, it looks a little too cute.
Not into it.
We've seen these kind of little.
This is getting a lot of
films
press.
before.
The Hunt.
Oh, okay. Oh, look,
Blumhouse
this
again.
I would like to see.
Yeah, I'd like to see this too.
I'd like to see that. And who's the famous girl in this?
Well,
I know she is. She's in the show Glow, and there's a
Betty Gilpin, right?
Betty Gilpin,
Yeah.
right?
And it also has Hilary Swank.
She's very good. Yeah.
If I Still Believe.
Right.
The latest in a series of Christian movies. We have the.
I don't need.
This
to
looks
see
interesting.
That. Okay.
Javier Bardem
and
Elle Fanning. The Road's Not Taken. I doubt it's going to open anywhere near here.
Yeah.
But it looks interesting regardless. We also have Inside the Rain, which looked interesting. Rosie Perez again.
Gee, Rosie's getting around.
But it looks kind of I remember reading the story. It sounds kind of cool.
Oh, really?
And
we also
that's
have what's her name? Elle Fanning's in a new movie now, I believe, on Netflix, which is called. Anyway, it's her.
She's got a new film, yeah.
Yeah, and she produced it and so forth. She was part of the whole choosing the cast, and
Great.
the guy who plays her little boyfriend in the film, she chose him. And
Okay.
she was on Kimmel the other night, and she was wonderful.
She's great.
She was so good, and she just had her 21st birthday, and of course her sister Dakota, and they showed kitty scenes when, oh man, you're in bad shape, dude.
It's just a cough. Relax.
It's not just a cough.
It is. It's a cough. I don't have any other symptoms.
Oh brother, now I'm getting it.
You do not get a cold that quick. You're absurd.
I can get it quick.
Not that quick. It does not
When
incubate
you're sitting
that
right
quick.
here blowing germs
No,
at me.
it does not happen that quick. Google it. I guarantee you cannot get a cold in less than an hour. It doesn't work that way. In terms of you getting the symptoms.
It only
doesn't work that
takes
way.
a moment for
No.
your germs to meet and then.
Yeah, you might get the germs, but you don't have the symptoms that quick. There's like a 5-day incubation usually.
Oh,
There's
God.
no way
Oh, thanks for
you
the warning.
have the symptoms that quick. It's impossible.
Oh, horrible.
You're a hypochondriac.
No, I'm not a hypochondriac.
Yeah, you are.
I'm sitting here opposite a very
No, but
sick
you're saying
guy
that you
who
have-
has a cold or the flu or
Not the flu, it's a cold.
or some kind of
You're
virus.
saying you have the symptoms
One never
already, which is
knows.
lunacy.
It doesn't matter, but I don't care. I'm just dreading the fact that
I'm dreading the phone call. You screaming at me over the phone.
Good.
You got me sick, you son
You're
of a
gonna
bitch.
get that phone call too, buddy.
Yeah, I will.
That's
Because
right.
nobody else in the world gets you sick but me.
Exactly.
65 years,
Well,
you've
you're the
never
only
gotten
person
sick by anybody
You're
but
the
me.
only person I sit next to.
Yeah, your wife never got you sick. Your
No.
friends and girlfriends never got you sick.
No.
Chris Picard's the only one that's ever gotten you sick
Yes.
in your entire life.
Yes.
It's fucking
My
bullshit.
whole life.
Fucking bullshit.
You and only you. No, since
Total
we've been
bullshit.
Stop. Since we've been doing this show, when you are sick, yes, I get sick.
Not every
from
time.
You.
Not every time.
No.
So there's no guarantee you're gonna get a
I will
cold.
say this about you. Normally, under most circumstances,
I'll tell you.
you will wear a mask.
Yeah.
Or you'll tell me,
Yeah.
listen, I don't think I should come
Because
to
this
the
one just
show.
came out of nowhere this afternoon. Late this afternoon, I started getting a cough out of nowhere.
Okay.
You know, and I was fine yesterday, day before. I got over that cold last week that I had. I was over it by the time I came over last Tuesday. You and I discussed it.
Cold banter.
And he had gotten a cold and was over it in a day, but he hadn't seen me.
I really didn't get a cold though.
But
I
you
just
told me
woke-
you had a cold.
Well,
you said I had a cold and I got over it in a day.
I lied about
Yeah,
that.
you lied.
I didn't have a cold. What I simply had was I had kind of the symptoms of being groggy and tired, and I thought.
Those aren't cold symptoms.
Well, see, and I thought, and my voice had fluctuated and changed into a much deeper module. So I thought, gee, maybe I'm getting a cold. So I kind of put it out there to some people that I know. I said, gee, I might be getting a cold. I don't know. So I just kind of said it to you. But
well, for me,
no,
you
I didn't really
said,
have a cold.
oh, I got a cold, but it went away. That's what you told me.
Well, I didn't really have a cold.
All right, well,
It
then you
was
should have
really
told me you had a
bullshit.
cold.
You don't just get a cold for a day.
Well, that's
You get
why I called bullshit on it.
I get a cold for literally a month or so, and it just doesn't
See,
go.
I usually get a cold for like a week, but then I get the cough for like 2 months.
Yeah.
But nobody gets sick from that cough after
Okay.
the initial virus is gone.
Okay.
It's just a cough.
All right.
Anyway, that's our show.
That's our show.
We'll see you again soon, and have a great week, everybody.
Okay. We'll all
Be safe out there with the coronavirus.
We'll be doing the next show at the Valley Hospital in Ridgewood, New Jersey.
I'm gonna be in a little bubble.
Chris is
And you can
probably
talk to me
you're going to
through
be
it.
John Travolta in the Boy in the Bubble.
Exactly.
With Diane. What was her name? Vreeland.
I forget it, but he fell in
Diane
love with her in
Vreeland.
real life, and she died.
Yeah, she died.
Yeah.
She died.
But that's our show. We're over an hour. I was hoping to get to an hour, but
And
we're
I think
over.
we better stop the show before Chris
Yeah.
completely collapses before your
I might fall asleep, yeah.
into a ball of slither type.
But
putty.
we'll see you guys again next week, as always.
I don't know if we'll see you, Chris.
Well, you'll take next week off then. If I don't feel well, we'll take next
I'll
week
do the
off.
show myself. There you go.
You can do it by yourself.
Very well.
Just
All
you
right.
talking to the camera.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're over. Okay.
All
Be
right,
nice
bye,
to
bye,
each
bye.
other. Be good.
All that bullshit.
All that bullshit.
See you later.
Goodbye.
Road. Yeah, we're going now. Yeah, let's just.